Hello and welcome to Theta Sigma's Doctor Who podcast number 29. This week, Regeneration, and the second of our Big Finish Crowded Tardis characters, Vislor Turlough.
I'm regenerated.
Many of you will be aware that over the last week, the podcast's Facebook incarnation has undergone something of a forced regeneration.
You can't just change what I look like without consulting me!
What do you think of my new face, by the way? I wasn't too sure about it myself to begin with. It sort of grows on you.
Yes, Theta Sigma's Doctor Who page on Facebook has become Theta Sigma's Doctor Who podcast on Facebook, and it's from here that I'll be posting the podcast from now on. You'll also notice that I'll be posting the podcast by means of a link to Dropbox. There's a couple of reasons for this new format. Firstly, producing the audio only takes out about 50% of the work and time of producing the video podcast that I was posting on the old page. Secondly, it means that people can download the MP3 if they want to and listen to it at their leisure on iPods, phones and iPads, and so on, which is useful for those that aren't on iTunes. And thirdly, it also means that I'm not subject to the 20-minute maximum time limit that Facebook impose on video uploads. So hopefully this will be better for everyone. Many of you will be aware that since last Sunday, when some pages reported the podcast as spam, Facebook imposed a ban on my posting anything to any other pages. At the same time, a ban was imposed on my replying to or commenting on any post posted by another page. I've repeatedly tried to contact Facebook to ask why this reply-cum-comment ban has been imposed or how long it will be in place. But to date, they've not been in touch. I have just this morning tried to email Facebook asking for an explanation of their actions and a timescale for the ban. And I've also told them that unless I receive some response from them, I will look at taking further legal steps to get the information I need. I have to say, and I've done so publicly on the old Facebook page, that Facebook's handling of this situation has been little short of shoddy at best, and in my humble opinion only, you understand, bullying bordering on abusive at worst. No contact from them explaining the ban. No contact from them telling me how long the ban will be in place. And no contact from them answering the questions that have been raised over this fiasco. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Sadly, the result of all this is that regardless of when the ban on my posting to other pages is lifted, I still will not be posting the podcast directly to other pages. It will keep things simple just to post to the Theta Sigma's Doctor Who podcast page and then allow others to share it as they feel able. I'm not going to ask other pages to share it on their own page, as I don't want them to be landed in the same miry pit as I've been dropped in. However, should they choose to share it of their own volition, fantastic. So to Facebook and the faceless, gutless pages that tried to bring down the podcast, sadly for you, you failed, and Theta Sigma's Doctor Who podcast lives on because
I am talking!
And now, on to the main topic of today's podcast. Vislor Turlough, as played by Mark Strickson. Mark Strickson was born on the 6th of April 1959 and is a British TV producer and actor best known for his acting role as Vislor Turlough in Doctor Who. Strickson was born in Stratford-upon-Avon in England. He attended the King Edward VI Grammar School in his hometown and was also a chorister at Holy Trinity Church, where his father John Strickson was organist and choirmaster. He studied drama at RADA in London. After he left Doctor Who, Strickson immigrated to Australia, where he studied zoology at the University of New England, Armidale, and he now lives in Dunedin, New Zealand. As an actor, Strickson appeared in the BBC medical series Angels before landing his part in Doctor Who, in which he starred for 2 years. He also played the young Ebenezer Scrooge in the 1984 version of A Christmas Carol. Strickson is now a documentary producer and director, especially of wildlife documentary programmes. He's produced programmes for, amongst others, the Discovery Channel, the BBC, ITV, Channel 4 and Animal Planet. It was Strickson that brought Steve Irwin to the public attention with such shows as The 10 Deadliest Snakes in the World. Strickson also appeared at Doctor Who's 20th anniversary celebrations in Longleat in 1983, alongside many other cast and crew members from the series. He has reprised the role of Turlough for the Big Finish Doctor Who audio dramas and has also contributed interviews and voiceover commentaries for DVD releases of his various Doctor Who serials.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're flying certain death airways. Very shortly we'll be catapulted into the air by a vast explosion prior to reaching our destination in a million tiny pieces. But look on the bright side. At least we'll scatter your ashes for you.
When Turlough first appears in Mordrin Undead, he's a student of now retired Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart. But let's not get into the unit dating controversy here. That's a whole new podcast. Turlough is attending the Brendan Public School, but it soon becomes apparent that he's not all that he seems. He's contacted by the Black Guardian, who offers to take him home if he kills the Doctor. Turlough also appears familiar with the concepts of time travel and matter transmission. At the end of the serial, Turlough asks to travel with the Doctor, and despite Tegan and Nissa's suspicions, the Doctor accepts Turlough as part of the TARDIS crew. During the course of the next two stories, Terminus and Enlightenment, Turlough finds himself unable to decide whether or not to carry out his assignment from the Black Guardian, but eventually rejects him in favour of loyalty to the Doctor. Although always slightly cowardly, with excellent instincts of self-preservation and a streak of ruthlessness, his relationship with the Doctor and Tegan does improve with time. Turlough is one of the few companions capable of operating many of the TARDIS systems, being able to run a diagnostic in the 5 Doctors, and program the TARDIS to retrieve the Doctor in Planet of Fire. Initially expressing a desire to return home, he continues travelling with the Doctor and Tegan until Tegan leaves at the end of the story Resurrection of the Daleks. In the very next serial, Planet of Fire, it's revealed that Turlough is a native of the planet Trion, having become a political exile to Earth following a civil war. Also revealed for the first time in Planet of Fire is Turlough's first name, Vislor. At the end of the story, Turlough discovers that political prisoners are no longer mistreated on Trion and decides it's time to return home. An image of Turlough appears during the 5th Doctor's regeneration scene in the caves of Androzani. Strixon himself has humorously commented that, not knowing what to do with him, the writers of the television series would often have the villains capture or lock him up, thus leading to Turlough often ending up in serious states of bondage. And that's all for this week. As always, thanks for listening, and if you have any feedback, please let me know on the new Facebook page, Theta Sigma's Doctor Who Podcast, or you can tweet me at ThetaSigma12, or you can email me at respectthething@outlook.com. That's respectthething@outlook.com. Either way, I look forward to hearing from you. Next week, in the last of this mini-series of the Big Finish Crowded Tardis, we look at the character of Nyssa, as played by Sarah Sutton. So until then...
Well, goodbye, my boy. You did quite well. Quite well. It's reassuring to know that my future is in safe hands.
Thank you for listening to Theta Sigma's Doctor Who podcast. Doctor Who and its associated shows are all copyright and property of the BBC, and no infringement is intended.